r/AskReddit by LaughWithMEmes. What's the strangest thing you've ever been caught doing? When I was going through puberty, I started getting a lot of hair on my ass, which I hated. So I started shaving my ass. Once my older brother decided to try and throw a cup of cold water on me in the shower. He rips open the curtain to me slightly bent over with shaving cream on my ass and a razor in my hand. He stops for a second, throws the cup anyway, then proceeds to laugh uncontrollably and tell everyone in the house what he caught me doing. I was 16. Masturbating in my room, turned on CNN as background/cover noise so as to not arouse suspicion while I was watching porn on my computer. My stomach dropped when I heard the door open, and I knew I only had time to make one action before my mom walked in, so I turned off the computer monitor. Mom walked in to see me holding my erect penis while watching Anderson Cooper. She just casually backed out of the room and closed the door. It's never come up in conversation with her, and I'm glad we never had to talk about that, but every once in a while she still reminds me, you know, I'd still love you if you were gay. You can always tell me, TL. Doctor basically got caught accidentally jerking it to Anderson Cooper. I was 14 getting it on with my hand and surround sound headphones. My dad walks in on me half asleep and mumbles, "What are you doing, boy?" and shuts the door, but then comes back in to verify what he's witnessed and has the audacity to say, "You playing with the air meat?" Anyone else read those quotes in the voice of Foghorn Leghorn? Boy, I say boy, are you playing with the air meat? I picked up a pizza, was super excited to eat it, so I put it in the passenger seat and said something along the lines of, "I'm gonna take you home and fuck you up," hyping myself and the pizza up, of course. I then saw that my window and the window of the next car was open. A woman watched and heard me talk dirty to a pizza. Another time I accidentally made eye contact with a woman while I was licking my lips after taking a sip of an Arizona tea, and she looked extremely offended by that. That was all in her head though, I'm still in denial. My friends and I did some questionably gay pranks back in the day as pubescent boys. Moon in front of the TV screen, stuff like that. One day I snuck into my friend's room, he had glass doors to the front yard, and got ready. I got naked and put on a sombrero and equipped my pecker in the wide end of a vuvuzela. Laid in his bed and wait. Few minutes later his mom walks in during a family function. I was mortified. She either didn't notice or just ignored it and walked out. Was I caught? Too afraid to ask. When I was about 14 I started to cum a lot, and so whenever I jacked off I had to come up with something that would make it easier for me to cover the tracks, if you know what I'm saying. So I started wrapping my dick with toilet paper. It looked like a mummy, but it did the trick. A mummy dick. So one time, I'm in the zone in my toilet, jacking it, watching some adult content on my PSP, and all of a sudden my mom comes in and hands me the phone. Apparently my friend couldn't find a better time to call me. So 10 years later I still remember the look on my mama's face when she saw me with my PSP in left hand and a mummy dick in the right one. Edit. Thanks for all the upvotes and discussions, ladies and gents. Had a ton of laugh reading. Had a 16 years old or so at the time I think. Came home from school with a fresh new porno DVD in hand. Older guy at school let me borrow it. I knew no one would be home for a couple hours, so I ventured down to my bedroom, closed the door, popped the DVD in, and flung my pants off with ferocity. I was about to beat myself into oblivion. My meat didn't stand a chance. I was fully prepared to beat a world record on how many whacks I could get in a 2-hour session. So, nude and ready to rock I begin. For some reason I chose to sit on the edge/corner of my bed in this case. That wouldn't have been my normal position. I guess because it was closer to the TV screen I must have wanted to get a good, clear view of the smut as close to the TV as I could. So I began. Went pretty well, if I do say so myself, for the first minute or so. Then, my dad opened my bedroom door. He had come home from work early. Oh no, 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 no. He looks at the filth playing on the TV, then looks at his son sitting, spread eagle on the corner of the bed mid-stroke, looks again at the porn, and starts laughing uncontrollably. He says, "When you're finished up there, come help me outside," then closed the door and walked out. I mean, I couldn't finish after that. Don't get me wrong, I tried, but it wasn't happening. So in the few minutes between me trying to finish yanking one out, getting my clothes back on, and hiding the DVD, a friend had stopped by. My dad was out mowing the lawn. My buddy gets out of his car and asks my dad if I'm home. My dad says, yeah, he's down in his room. Yeah, may wanna knock though cause he's probably beating his meat. One morning I woke up strangely early. Around 5 or 6, without an alarm. I was bored and proceeded to lift up my top mattress and just lay between the bottom and top ones. Mom walked in, extremely confused. I couldn't really explain, I didn't know what I was doing myself. She asked if I needed help. Oh man. So I must have been about 12. I was in the car with my mom. To set the scene, it was a 3-row soccer mom van, and I was in the second row behind the passenger seat with my mom driving. Well, since I was 12 I got my random hormone boner, strange and awkward enough, right? Well, I decide that I would pretend I was driving and that my boner was the stick shift. Mom caught me. This scene needs to make it into a movie someday. Had a coworker that was working at a customer site. He had a creepy little crush on one of the women that worked there, but it was apparently innocent enough that no one really cared. Until one day the woman came back from lunch and saw him pick up the cushion from her chair and sniff it. He was asked to leave. A coworker caught me sniffing her chair. I was using it for a meeting, since she was supposed to be out for the day, and her cube was right beside the conference room. I spilled coffee on it, and I cleaned it well. Since she was in that cube farthest from the break room, since she hated the smell of coffee, so I cleaned it well. She came in to get something, and got a good laugh from catching me. I was in standstill traffic, i.e. car had been turned off, people were loitering outside of their cars, and I had a baby squirrel that I was hand rearing in my car. I fed it some puppy milk formula from a bottle, looked up and realized I had an audience of about 20 people gawking at me. Meester, give him milk of the puppy. Jon Snow being offered milk of the puppy I done want it. When I was around 10 years old I was getting curious about sex, so I decided to look it up in the dictionary. Wouldn't you know it, my ultra-conservative mother walks in the room, so I try to play it off, like I was looking up the Haida Native American tribe. She called me out for being in the S's, but I doubled down and pretended I was possibly dyslexic. What a tangled web I wove. This reminds me of all the doll orgies I would host. I remember once my mom unexpectedly walked in, so I hurriedly sat on a pile of naked, pointy Barbies and Kens, as if that would hide the obvious. Arguing with myself, well, not myself, the actual person just wasn't there, so I was standing in the mirror. With animated facial expressions and gestures. Lips moving, but with no sound. I now reserve these hypothetical arguments for the shower. When I'm home alone. This hurts because I do this every day, and if I ever got caught I would die. I once saw an old bloke slowly walk near a tree, have his hat pushed off by one of the low-hanging branches, then proceed to slowly pick up the hat, declare I avenge myself in a neutral tone, and then break a twig off the tree before slowly walking off. I really think this one is neat. Thanks for sharing. That's f***ing hilarious. This guy's the boss. Was at the driveway at Wendy's and had exact change as I was switching the money one hand to another. The quarter slipped in between my legs and I went to grab it, but it slipped down further and the guy comes to the window as I have one hand full with cash and the other hand in between my legs trying to grab the quarter. He looked at me and said I'm not even going to ask, and I just said the quarter fell between my legs. I have exact change. I got it and handed it to him, pulled up to the next window to get my food, and it set it what he thought he saw me doing. So embarrassing. I was once caught by an ex-girlfriend playing her cat like a banjo. I had both Slush's front paws in my hand and was strumming on his tummy. The cat was purring so loud it made her come in to see what was going on. It was a long awkward pause for what? By are you playing my cat? Please like and subscribe for more. This is Laugh with Memes. Goodbye.